see if this works. Hey, everyone. Oh, wow. So, said we would do a live video tonight, and by the skin of my teeth, here I am, doing a live video. I just now got kiddos down. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's almost 8. So, yeah, not really nailing it today. So, Hillary is off teaching a class, and so I have co-opted her space. And, you know, I felt like we should continue... Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I've been rushing. Yeah. I actually over-poured my beer, and it was, like, foamy, and then I tried to drink it, so it went spill, and it was bad, and I'm like, oh. So, yeah, that's what's happening. Talking about fatherhood and oils, and the push to silver. So, for the guys, I think that sometimes you're a lot more behind the scenes. I know for me, like, you know, when I think of oils, I think of, like, you know, fry oils, you know. I made homemade potato chips tonight, which I'm super stoked about. But, didn't know anything about essential oils. And as Hillary would tell you, was not a believer in the beginning at all. Like, not that I didn't think that essential oils had properties that could be beneficial. I did believe that. The thing of it was, there are some home businesses out there that, to me, do not have the most ethical practices, and I've seen a lot of people get burned by them. Good friends of mine. I am very confident, and I can say without qualm, Young Living is not that. And there are a lot of really great, reputable, you know, businesses where people can work as distributors, and I love that. I think getting to be your own boss and pursue a business without having to buy a franchise or come up with a completely new idea and go on Shark Tank and pitch it to a bunch of people who are going to, you know, attack it. Like, if you have something that you believe in and you get to be a part of it, I like the idea of, you know, taking what a company would use for their sales benefit, and doing a different sort of marketing strategy, because every business has to market. You know, whether you're a local craftsman and you're doing it by word of mouth, or you're a big box store and you're competing in that big market, you know, everyone is competing, has to get the word out that they have a product that they think is better than the other dude's product, and that you should check it out. And so, when we started this journey, I didn't really see, and I don't think Hillary did either, like the sort of big picture culture and how well it fit with who we are, and what we're about. One of the big things for Hillary and I is parenthood. I mean, hey, Ryan. And Ryan would know, he is also an awesome parent, and I have seen that guy's videos, and he looks like the roughest, toughest dude, and yet total, you know, his daughter just melts his heart. And I know that a lot of, you know, guys out there really embrace, like, that fatherhood thing. And that was what Hillary and I we absolutely love. I mean, if you can't tell, we have 5 kids. We're going on 6. We like parenting. Like, it's enjoyable. It's not everyone's thing. Some people find it more of a chore, but I knew from a very young age, like at 13, I was like, man, I've had a great childhood, which is crazy to realize that at 13 that you had it pretty good. And I was like, I want to do that for other people. I want to have a boatload of kids. I'm still just a large child myself, as many of you know. You know, Disney song comes on and I'm there, you know, shaking it with Sawyer just as much as anyone. And it's great. And the way that I didn't expect sort of Young Living and essential oils, it's not just a product. Like, it's a community of really awesome people that we get to partner with, that share very similar beliefs. It's a product that does a very different role in our family than I think a lot of other products. Simply because, I don't know if I'm going to word this right. I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into this. But, like, building connection, like, if you've ever done, child rearing or taken any of those child psychology classes, I'm sure some of you have. They'll talk about some of like the really important things, like, breastfeeding, skin to skin contact with like small children, babies, infants. So important. You don't get that in the early years of your life. Like, it can have really damaging effects. Just physical contact in a positive, encouraging, safe way is huge. We all need that. I think one of the things that I remember when I was doing and learning about street ministry is on the streets in the sort of poverty communities, whether it's in the streets of Manila in the Philippines, or the slums in India, or even here in the States. Those communities, especially if they feel like outcast, or you look at any social group that is sort of on the fringes, good healthy contact, hugs, pats on the back. In Philippines, dudes walk around holding hands, and it's a connection thing. In our family, there is some of that, but I know that a lot of that is you grow up in Western culture where we're less of that. We're not Italian. I'm not walking up to people kissing both sides of their face. So when it came to supporting family wellness, that made sense to me. But one of the added things of it is there is something just very powerful and positive. For whatever reason you're doing it, whether it's just to help soothe a baby, or just I remember when I was below the wellness line and woke up. If you've heard our story, my wife was there, and I was in one of those things where you are below the wellness line to the point where it is just unpleasant, and you can't bring your mind to fixate on anything else. All that is consuming is the fact that you're below that wellness line. And my wife comes in, and she got out the copaíba, and she put some in her hands, and she started rubbing my temples, behind my ears, like the back of my neck, my thumbs, which I thought was weird, and my toes. And I will say, the effect of even just the contact, even of someone just taking like the time to like care for you in that way, I think was powerful. I am a firm believer that oil definitely helps me when I'm in those places, rise out of that, out into a good wellness level. Absolutely, no doubt. But there's definitely something soothing, connecting about that sort of an interaction. It's way more powerful than just take a pill, than just here, take this, call me in the morning. It's a connectiveness. And so when Isaiah or Sawyer, and now even our big kids, they start to drop it below the wellness line, and Matt will let my wife, rub oils on his feet. And it's just, especially with teenagers, you tend to fight, and you lose some of that human connectionness. And I think that those years especially are when they need it, and need it in healthy, powerful, and encouraging ways. Things like a pat on the back. And I know it's not for everyone. Like, you got to find your own comfort zone, and I'm not advocating one way of physical contact over another. But for me, like the guy who comes up, shakes my hand, and like hand on the shoulder, looks me in the eye, like that is a more powerful affirming of like we're on the same page than just like someone being like giving me the thumbs up. And that might be me, but I think that it's a lot of what's missing to some degree in our culture, and was even missing from our family. And oils, and I think there's something to say about anointing people with oils. Like, it is a physical contact thing. It is a connection thing. It is an empowering thing. And it's done a lot of really good for our family. I think in a lot of times when, like, Isaiah, he's having a tantrum, and I'm a relatively new parent. I know it still surprises me. Like, went from like 0 to, it feels like a million, but 0 to 3, 4, and then 5 in the space of like 3 years, and just felt out of my depth a lot with that. Hillary is an amazing wife, and I love that she has helped, go through this journey with me. But when oils came in, it wasn't just Sawyer was screaming and in a bad place, and I was, holding him like it. Even maybe it's just a connection for me, but being able to rub oils on his hands, on his feet, on his back, the smell, the soothing nature of that, of like, just massaging his wrists, it builds connection. It makes me feel like, hey, I'm definitely, doing something. I think it's a very positive thing, and it's a very soothing thing. And then you add in the fact that these smells, these positive, powerful, plant chemicals that are, entering your bloodstream, doing what they do, but also that actual memory that's formed is then a powerful thing. And so I smell certain oils now, and my mind is connected to the positiveness in the moment that happened, whether it was, I'm so non-compliant, and I'm realizing that I need to learn how to speak compliantly. So sorry if that doesn't make sense, but as a Young Living distributor, we do not treat, cure, anything like that. And so I'm trying to be very, very clear with how I speak about it. But positive memory there, connecting with that, it was just very impactful. So I know as a dad like me, fry oil definitely is a good essential oil that I'm all about, but I have definitely learned the positives and the powerfulness of something that would have seemed a little bit more out of my comfort zone, out of, the little bit more touchy-feely, and then understanding the place that has, and sort of what's been lost and what was missing in our family. I am so excited that it is part of who we are, it's part of our family's culture. Chris, Matt, Emma, Isaiah, and Sawyer, like, even, when they put oils in Isaiah's diffuser to help, level him out, like, that is them, like, getting to, do that soothing thing. Supporting your siblings. It's really, it's been good, for lack of a better way to put it. And I wish these things that are so hard to put into words sometimes, because you wouldn't see it in an instant. Like, it is a different way of doing things that takes on a different look than the way that we typically treat people when they are below the wellness line. And then on the other side, and this is on the way more practical, the oils are fantastic. The non-chemicals, not having to worry that if Sawyer walks in and gets into our cabinets, which he is constantly doing, he is like breaking and entering, with his little tools, and Jimmy's his way into pretty much anything I don't want him to be in. It's actually kind of amazing. Today, while I was frying chips, I look over and he is 4 rungs up on the pantry, which thankfully is secured to the wall, but he was going the distance and had to run over and be like, no, we're not going to do that. But to know that if he does get into a cabinet and does decide to drink an entire bottle of cleaner, that it's not going to mean a trip to the ER. It's not going to mean like having the worry of, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to my son. Like, those panic moments, man, are just rough. If you've had them, which I feel like every parent at some point goes through that. Let me know. Is that pretty common? I feel like even if you're a new parent and sometimes you just don't know. It's like, they accidentally inhale water, and you hear about these things like dry drowning, and you're like, Googling, you're like, do I go to, I feel like every parent does that. And maybe all you veterans out there are like, yeah, everyone knows that. Well, to me, it's new. But those panic moments, I feel like because our house is chemical free, because we work so hard to ditch and get away from, not just chemicals that can kill them instantly, but that can have long-term negative health impacts over exposure. I think it's one of the things that our culture is going to have to address very soon, especially when you look at things like, purity of our drinking water and things like that. And I don't want to get into that because you go down any of those trails and they get political really quick. And I try to be apolitical. I have my thoughts, but I like to not get on a soapbox. I like to just hang out, enjoy the conversation. But as a foster parent, as, a parent of, even our teenagers, knowing that the products that they're using are safe, are the best out there, is peace of mind at its best. So, yeah, I guess that's my live video. If you're curious about what I mean by that, if you're like, man, you're really vague and obtuse about the whole oils and connection thing, I would love to, tell you and show you how it shaped our family. Even, me and my wife, being able to put an oil in the diffuser when, I can tell that the days are long and that she needs the focus and that it's not there. That's cool. I mean, how many other things can you do other than trying to remove distractions to help, your partner focus when they need to focus, whether it's school or sitting at a computer, doing data entry, or having to look through and correct your kids' homework. Just being able to focus, especially when you're at the end of a long day, huge. So it's cool to be able to do that for my wife and for our other kids. And yeah, so that is my oily video tonight. I'm now finally going to, that the babies are asleep, going to enjoy my beer for the night and my potato chips that are getting cold. I just learned to make potato chips and deep fry things, and that is also an awesome oil that I am learning to use. Fry oil, different kind of essential oil. Not sold by Young Living, but still good. So that's going to be my name. Thanks for tuning in. And Hillary and I will see you tomorrow in our race to silver. All right. Night, guys. I can never hit this button. I'm pressing it.